Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about habits and goals. So at my church, my pastor's been speaking about habits and how good habits usually equal success, whether it be in your health, in your job, in your relationships, in your finances. Good habits equal good results. And we heard a speaker named John Maxwell say something that is so true. He said so many of us tend to have upward goals and upward dreams with downward habits, and we can't get upward to those dreams if we have our habits pulling us down in the opposite direction. Everybody has different passions and different talents and different dreams, but so often we let our bad habits get in the way of that, or we just feel like they're unattainable, and I almost let that happen to me. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you guys and tell you how I worked to change the path that I was going down and how I'm still working on it today. For those who know me know that I've been singing since forever. Since I was like 2 or 3 years old, my parents discovered I could sing because they caught me singing like Whitney Houston. So from then on, I was singing all the time. I started writing songs at the age of 11 or 12 years old. I actually put out my own little album, but it's one of those things where it's like, you don't want anybody to find it because it's embarrassing. Everybody has to start somewhere, so but it did get the job done because I had a lot of girls come to me saying that the songs and the messages were very inspiring and very encouraging, so that was the goal and it did its job. At 21 years old, I got engaged to my husband, and I took that 10 months of our engagement period and I focused on the wedding. I was my own wedding planner with the help of my mom, but I basically planned everything, so I was not focused on my music that much. I did sing at places here and there, but my main focus was on the wedding. And my husband is actually a music producer, so it was a perfect match. Producer, singer. We got married and then moved to Delaware where he lives, and now I live for the past almost 5 years. That first year of marriage, I chose not to work because I wanted to focus on learning how to be a wife, learning how to be domesticated, because it is hard, let me tell you, especially when you're moving to another state and you don't have your friends and your family around you. It was a difficult time. So during the second year of our marriage, I experienced something that caused severe anxiety on another level. This was like severe extreme anxiety all day, and I'm gonna tell more of my story on that in another video. But during that time, it was really bad. I had no inspiration to write. I had no motivation. It caused me to fall into depression. It was horrible. It was a really, really dark time. So going through this situation, I felt like I was in a rut and I did not have any motivation to get out of it. And honestly, some of it was just straight up laziness. Like, I didn't want to put any effort or energy to be challenged, to try to get myself out of it. So from that experience, I developed these bad habits. I was not working toward anything. I didn't have any goals in mind. I was so stuck in my situation, in my dark bubble, and it was even harder because I was away from my family and my friends. I was out of my comfort zone, totally out of my comfort zone. I was a new wife, so my poor husband, he didn't know what to do with me. He was like trying to be there for me, and I was just going through this weird mental breakdown that I never experienced before. So being with my husband, of course, we always planned to work on an album for me, but with each year that passed, it wasn't getting done. I would procrastinate, or I would start and stop a lot. I would have all these ideas and get really excited, and then I would totally pull back and question myself, and I just wasn't totally in it. I had one foot in and one foot out. Since my husband works from home, we have a studio in the basement, so we have artists over all the time and musicians over all the time. So during the past few years, I was able to write with other artists. I did get to write on some albums. I got to sing background on some albums, but it still wasn't my album. And honestly, I just was not confident in myself. I was afraid that I would be compared to other people. I just allowed all these fears to take over my thoughts to where I really thought that that was true. So I just felt like I had all this pressure and all this potential at the same time that I was just letting go to waste. And with each year that passed that I wasn't working toward my goal, I felt more and more down because I knew I was letting down my parents. My parents are my biggest fans. They supported me from day one. I was letting down my husband, and my husband believes in me more than I believe in myself. My husband is the hardest worker that I know. And I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. Like, I literally saw him from where he was at when we were dating to now. Like, he has achieved so many of his goals, and I'm so proud of him because I see him working hard and busting his butt every single day. So I was wondering why I was feeling so depressed and why I was feeling so confused about my future and what to do, and even spiritually, like, my faith was shaken, and I was thinking maybe music is just not for me. Maybe I need to pursue something else. And at this time, I did have a full-time job, but it wasn't like a career. Like, I started looking up different careers that I could pursue because I was just so done with music. I felt like it was haunting me. So at the end of 2015, I talked to different people. I read a lot. I prayed a lot. I got advice, and I realized, like, whatever I was going through, this craziness that was happening to me, that wasn't the real me. And I had to let go of all the lies. I had to let go of all the fears, and I had to move forward in what I always wanted to do. And I made a decision. I remember specifically at the end of 2015, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't live in fear. I can't allow these pressures ruin my life. So I started writing again. I felt like going through that dark time allowed me to come out of it with something to say. And I started a new instrument. I just started enjoying music again. I was feeling inspired again. So for 2016, I implemented a lot of new habits, and I began to improve and feel like myself again. And I'm not at all saying that I arrived in any way. I just want to put myself out there, because if you're in that boat right now, if you're in your early 20s or mid 20s or whatever age, honestly, and you're in that situation, only you can change your mindset. And that's what I had to do. I had to decide, okay, I'm in control of my mind, I'm in control of my thoughts, and I'm not gonna allow this anymore. I wasted precious time of my life living in fear, living in doubt, not trusting God for my future. Even though I thought I was, I didn't realize all this at the time. But once I came out of it and I saw it from a different perspective, I was like, wow, I believe that God gives us our talents and our passions, and whatever I do flows from that. In the center of it all is wanting to share God's love, wanting to share God's gift of forgiveness, God's message of salvation. So even though those years were a really dark time for me, I felt like God was working on me and molding me and pruning me and helping me grow to learn more about Him and to learn more about me. And I feel like I had to go through that to like level up in my life. So for this year, I'm continuing those positive habits and adding even more things to make sure that I'm adequately challenged, because if you're not, then how are you going to grow? So my question for you is, are you going to let another year pass by without working toward your goal? Without working towards your passion? It could be a short-term goal, it could be a long-term goal. It actually should be both, but work on something. Take initiative, because you never know. Sometimes you might think your passion is one thing, and once you try it out, you realize, you know what, I kind of don't really like that, and then you get directed to something else. But you'll never know if you don't step out. Like for me, I love music, I love to sing, but I feel like God might have more for me, and that's fine. But right now, I'm taking the step to work on what I love to do, and I'm not gonna wait around and have things fall into my lap. I know that I have to step out and work for it. One of my favorite things is seeing people walk out in their purpose or live out like their dreams and their goals, even if I don't know them. Like people on YouTube, people on Instagram. Like when I see people just doing what they love, it's so inspiring. So here's some things that you can do to work towards your goals. This is what I told myself. No more procrastinating. You procrastinated enough. Now it's time to work. Put off temporary pleasure like laying down and watching Netflix for hours and hours and hours when you can be using that time to invest in what you want to do. Write out your goals, write out your passions, and make it a priority. Have it in front of you so that you can read it every single day and make a plan for yourself with steps on how you're going to reach these goals. So a couple of weeks ago, my friends and I did this. We got together and we wrote out what our goals are for this year and in general. So it could be a short-term goal that you want to complete within a month or the next few months, and it could be a long-term goal that could take however many years until it's reached. So we wrote out the what we want to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, and my favorite part, the why. Seeing the why brings everything together. If you have no idea what you want to do, just look at the things you're drawn to, what excites you when you think of doing it. Ask God to guide you. In my experience, there is no better feeling than walking out your purpose that your Creator has given you. Like talking to God and praying about why you put me on this earth. Read. My generation needs to read more. Read stories that inspire you. Get a mentor who is in the same field as you. Hang around friends that are trying to uplift you and who are trying to grow themselves. Of course, exercise, eat better, get enough sleep. I almost forgot to mention my necklace. I got this from Etsy, custom made. I got it before that whole dark season happened, and it says "Sing for Joy." And I got that from a few different verses in the Psalms in the Bible. There's so many verses that say sing for joy. And it's crazy how for so long I did not wear this necklace because I did not feel like singing for joy. So now I wear it again, which I'm happy about. So that's it, guys. I hope that you found this helpful and that you would follow me on my journey, and I hope that this nudges you to do the same thing. I'm curious to know, what are your goals? Leave them down in the comments below, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching as usual, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.